Alright, welcome back. After looking at the video and remembering there was a couple things I wanted to say I didn't say, I wanted to follow up on a couple items. It kind of goes without saying you need a little bit of mechanic experience because this is a pretty involved job. The manual I actually bought says it's not for the home mechanic, but if you got some experience, you'll be able to do okay as long as you can maintain patience and just keep striving forward. But I wanted to point out a couple things. The heater hoses here, this kind of goes without saying, everybody probably knows where they're at, but they can be dried out and hard to get at. There is a tool you can get at O'Reilly AutoZone Advance. It's like a little finger device you get back in there and pull in the hoses because they're dried and they're sometimes hard to get out. If you cut them off, you want to be careful so you don't nick the fittings underneath there. But upper hose and lower hose. So those are the two heater hoses. I also wanted to point out, this is pretty big deal. This is the heater core, and right in here is where the O-rings go. So there's two tubes that come out of here that then have the fittings that we just looked at for the heater core, or for the heater hoses. And those aluminum tubes that go into here have an O-ring on them. And I was told we really should replace those, and so they were a blue O-ring. I went to the place that I usually get my work done when I don't do it myself, and he had a kit, and we looked through his kit to find some O-rings, but they do not come with the heater core. You could maybe buy those tubes if you wanted to. I don't know how much those would be, so I was slightly nervous about getting the O-ring to fit to match exactly, but that's what I did. One other thing on the inside of the truck, I don't think you need to take out the gauge cluster. This gauge cluster I did take out. There's 4 screws, and on my truck it just plugs in. There's actually no harness. The harness is built right into the back of the dash, so it's just pulled out. It came out pretty easy, but if you don't have to take it out, no use doing it. So I think that you can leave that in. And then I also didn't mention that once this outer cluster does come off, this shrouding, the radio does need to be removed. There's a antenna cable that needs to be undone on the backside right, and a connector on the backside left. And then I think I did mention in the first video, the antenna cable has to be fully removed off of this whole dash in order to remove the dash out of the vehicle. And then another thing I had a little trouble figuring out, and I was pretty nervous about, was this gear shift here. There's a cable. There's like a ball joint about right here, and the cable goes down through the firewall and hooks up to the transmission, and it snaps off. So the ball joint sticks out like so, like away from the steering column, and then there's an eyelet with the plastic sliding. It's a pretty wild cable, and you just pop it off this way. It's got like a little rubber grommet or something, so it does come off. I had trouble figuring out how to do that, and I was nervous about that because if that thing broke, you're replacing the cable all the way down and through the firewall into the transmission. That didn't look fun. And then one other thing, these side kick panels here, half the battle is just figuring out how everything comes apart. These panels on the side that isn't on here currently snaps in fore aft with this clip here. Well, it's just a clip there and clip there, that's it. And then it goes underneath. There's a piece of trim that I have off right now, and that was because I didn't mention in the other video, but where the firewall meets the floor on my truck was completely rotted out, and so I put some mesh screen in there, sprayed some Flex Seal over it, and I think it's good to go now. So I just wanted to follow up on those couple things, and I hope your project goes well. Also, it took about 10 hours to take it apart, and I think it was about 4 hours to put it back together. I'm sure I could do it in half the time now, knowing some of these things. Good luck in your project. Have a good day.